Hey everyone, Sarah here from Blue Side Adventure. I am here with Nemo from Defined by Adventure, and we are on a 3-day backpacking trip testing out some equipment. We are going to give you some recommendations on some lighter weight stuff, some areas where we're going to compromise with some weight, but make sure that you watch this and get ready for a fantastic adventure. So for everyone watching, we want to talk about some gear that's going to help you get through a 2 to 3 day backpacking trip. This is our first stop on our 3-day trip through Zion. We've just set up here and we just wanted to talk about some of the stuff that we have. So I'm going to hand it over to Nemo real quick and she's going to talk about her tent setup because she's got a little bit different setup than I do. And each of these are a bit unique. So take it away.
All right. So when I started looking at tents, I was really wanting to do backcountry type stuff. And well, I wanted to go backpacking. And the key to backpacking is all about the weight that you're carrying. When I chose the Black Diamond, the reason that I chose it is because it was significantly lighter than anything else. Plus it was also going to give me trekking poles. As you can see, the Black Diamond backpacking tent is using the trekking poles. That is the majority of the structure. It's staked at 4 different points, and then it has one connection rod that plugs into the top of the trekking poles. This comes in at 1 pound and 8 ounces, but they're also counting the trekking poles with that, which you're probably going to be using like we did today. We used them for a couple of things. Number one, to keep ourselves balanced through some of the trickier spots that we went through, but also just to make a little bit of racket because we did come across some snakes on the trail today, and it's good to give them a warning. They don't want to encounter us any more than we encounter them. How do you like your new marmot?
To be determined. This is my first night in it. But so some of the things, hopefully you can see behind me here. So it also stakes down in 4 different areas. And then the biggest difference is with mine is that it actually uses the tent poles to hold up the structure. So I found it really easy to set up. I think it's going to be just enough room for me. If I'm backpacking with Bumble, which he likes to be out here. That's my dog, for those of you who don't know. We might be a little squished because he's a 90-pound Siberian Husky. But for what we're doing right now, I think I'm going to really enjoy it. One of the differences from the other tent is that there's a rain fly that I can take on and off, which is going to be pretty beneficial. The weight of this one is 2.2 pounds, so it's a little bit heavier. I think overall for what I'm doing and the kind of backpacking we're doing, every ounce and every, pound counts. But for me, being able to have this style tent and for my budget, it worked really well for me. So that is what I am working with for a backpacking tent.
Yeah, as we were setting up today and we were dealing with the heat and sunlight and things like that, and we kind of wanted to get away from the flies for a little bit, I did kind of envy you in the flexibility that you had where you could take your rain fly off of your tent, as to where mine's always going to be like this. And I will say it held up really well when we went camping the other day in Colorado and we got snowed on. Yep. We encountered snow, ice, and thunderstorm, but I was in here and staying dry, which was great. The only thing that there's a vent here, and then there's also a vent at the foot of the tent, and both of them are set up to prevent precipitation from getting into there. And then the door has a small triangle type shape that is an option to zip it down or zip it up, but that's really all I've got for opening it up to allow a breeze to come through. So I'm never really going to get that same benefit that you do.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that. So I'm enjoying that so far. Let's go ahead and move on to the chairs that we are sitting in, because we were thinking about not taking these to save on weight. But they are both, I think they're both the same brand, REI. They're super lightweight and they're really easy to set up. And I really am glad that we brought it because we got to this site, we did over 7 miles to get here and we got here pretty quickly. So we would be just kind of like sitting around in the dirt or trying to sit in the tents if we didn't have these chairs. So this has been really nice just to be able to sit and chill out. So I think this will be a part of my backpacking standard gear package to make sure that I have a lightweight chair like this. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. When it all comes down to it, this is our bag that these pack down to. This is so lightweight, like you don't even really notice it at all. This is so small as well that it fits into the exterior little straps on the backpack, and I found it easy to attach to my backpack. Obviously, I didn't care enough about my chair staying dry to put it inside of the backpack, so outside is just fine for this. Normally everything in my backpack is going to stay dry. Today was not one of those days.
Oh, and we're going to transition there. Okay.
The rest of me stayed dry, but inside of my backpack got wet. And I think that's probably the one part of my kit that I actually had better options. And I went with my Camelback today because it was larger than the Osprey hydration systems that I have. I think the other ones that I have come in at 2.5 liters. And I thought, oh, if I could get another half a liter, so that's a 3-liter hydration bag that obviously I've got the hose for it. I normally take this thing snowboarding, and I have ran into this problem every time that I've owned a Camelback, is that at some point I experience a leak, and I end up getting a new one. I have had great luck with my Osprey hydration systems. You and I took them to Nepal. Zero problems ever. I like the way that they latch better. I like the way that they close better. And obviously today you were rocking a 2-liter.
I have the 2-liter. Let me grab that real quick while you're...
And when it was all said and done, here I was starting out with 3 liters, and I'm completely empty, not because I drank 3 liters today. I'm completely empty because 3 liters ended up in my sleeping bag. So the bladder leaked a lot. I still haven't figured out where it's leaking. There's not a noticeable hole. We would be in a lot of trouble if we hadn't, gone with the typical military and law enforcement mentality with 2 is 1 and 1 is none. So I did bring some backup options. Really like these Hydra packs to bring additional water in addition to the bladder. That was a really great idea to bring that, and it's been a fantastic save today.
So the difference between just looking at the Camelback versus what Osprey does is they've got this latch, or not a latch, but it's a slide on the top. So you would fill it, fold the latch or fold the bag over, and then slide this on. So it's pretty secure. And then the other thing that I've liked that they've started doing is you can detach the hose right here. And so that makes it easy. I took this out of my bag, but generally in your packs, you'll have to feed this through somewhere, and it just kind of gets to be a pain in the butt. So I like that you can leave this attached to your bag, and then you can detach the hose at this point and then take the bag out to refill it. So I think Osprey's done a pretty good job there. I think if we had to compete against Camelback and Osprey, I think Osprey wins this round.
Oh, hands down. I won't buy another one of these. Until I actually think I just found the leak when I set it down on the ground. It looks like it's in the seal of the edge right here, the way that the dirt is sticking to that particular spot. So that's where it's coming from. So this will, I don't know if they are recyclable. It's going to be finding its way to the trash bin when we get home.
So talking about water, let's talk about our little lifesaver here, because losing as much water as you did, there are some springs that are along the trail, and this is probably both our first time filling water and trusting water from a natural source. And so this system is a Grail. It's a filter system, and this is one of 2 filtering systems that we have here. All right, this is our spring. We're at Potato Spring, and we are going to fill some water. Yay!
We fill to this line right here. You'll notice that it's empty. This is our filtering system that we've got. And when you screw off the top, that will be your clean water. It works just like a coffee press. So we put water into here, push this in, shove down, and everything that comes up through the filter will be cleaner water.
And what we're gonna do is fill this. So I'll fill this with the spring water, and then we're actually gonna double filter this because we have another bag that will be our 3 liters of water. So it also helps because we need to fill this bag, but the double filter makes us feel a little more better. All right, let's do this.
So what she's doing, she's making sure that she doesn't go past the fill line because anything after that is just going to overflow when we press. So no point of wasting any water. As you can see, we don't have just like some massive flowing system here. So
There we go.
all right. So Sarah's going to come up here. She's going to grab the inside of the grail. And now she's going to press.
It's a harder press than I thought it was going to be. Or I'm just weak. Could be both.
Once that she hits that plunger against the orange wall, she will have all of the water in there.
Boom.
And now we're ready to go to system 2.
Okay.
So this is a hydrovac. As you can see, this it doesn't have anything in it. That filter that she just took out, which is also the nozzle, this is what it uses. So basically when you push through the nozzle, you are getting that filtration effect.
So we'll put it in here. And we will redo this process
several times. All right.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so I did want to talk about our GPS systems that we have. So I have a really, really old version of this. This is the Delorme or Delorme. It's one of the first Garmin Rescue GPS. It's got, so the functions that it has, with it being as old as it is and the clunky buttons and the size, it works just as well as one of the smaller ones that Nemo will talk about in a second. This was just a hand-me-down, and I felt like I didn't need to spend the extra money when it works just as well. It has a Bluetooth update, so what it does is... Where is my phone?
Oh, you're filming with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if I can keep that or not.
I was like,
That's classic. So my phone has Bluetooth on it, and I can navigate through anything I need on this system through Bluetooth through the Garmin Earth app on my phone. I can send messages from it. I can get updates. I can check maps. I can make waypoints. I can make routes. It's really, really awesome. The other thing that it has is this SOS feature. So I subscribe to Garmin. It's about $11 a month for what I do. I get 10 messages a month that are free. Other than that, I think it's about 10 cents an extra message. No big deal. But the key thing here is if I need rescue, I have this SOS button, and I will be able to be located wherever I am in the world on this. So I really love having it. One of the tips that I want to make sure that you have when you use one of these is to actually keep it on your person. So when you have one of these systems, it's really, really important safety-wise that you keep it on you at all times. Not in your bag, not clipped to your bag, but actually clipped to your belt loop or in a zippered pocket for whatever that you use. And the reason is if you take a nasty spill down a side of a cliff, or you're somewhere where you're separated from your bag, this is your lifesaver. So oftentimes, and I've read stories about this, when people actually have falls while they're hiking, and especially down cliffs, they will lose their bag, you'll lose whatever's in your pockets. So you want to make sure that whatever system you use is actually physically attached to you so that you can call for help and get help through that. And I know a particular story of someone that I know that had they not had this device on them, then they wouldn't have been able to get rescued because they did lose their bag and they did have serious fractures and injuries and had to get medevaced out. So just huge safety tip. Always have something to take care of yourself and your partners if you're hiking with people that don't have them. The insurance policy won't quite transfer, but life-saving, like let's make sure that you have someone or somebody to get help out there. And then yeah, always keep it charged, always keep it on you. So what's the one that you have? You have a much newer model.
I've also got a Garmin device. It is the InReach Mini. I do really like this for the size of it. It does come with an option. I went with the carabiner so that I could hang it from my backpack or my belt loop. And today we did just that. For the most part today, it was hanging on my backpack like it is, like I always have it. However, at one point, we were going to do a small out and back to an overlook, and it was going to add 2 miles to our hike to do, 1 mile out, 1 mile back. So we dropped our bags. I did put this on my belt loop, and, it's very quick. It's very easy to just take it off and re-snap. Same thing, same subscription service. It does have some pre-programmed messages in there. There's not an easy way to do that. However, I can Bluetooth it with my phone. I can type a message and send it through this. I have had some struggles actually with getting the messages to send. I think I still have some from Nepal that never went, basically.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But, if they're not prioritizing, my communications, that's fine. It's the idea that if I did fall somewhere, or, the snake bite possibility is a real strong one. When we ran into that snake, we actually weren't very far from that large meadow clearing. And so it will send your waypoint, and that subscription comes with a optional insurance policy that will cover if they have to meta-flight you out or something to that effect. And so the idea that a search and rescue team, like Garmin immediately starts communicating with them. They've got so many success stories. They send it out, I want to say, like quarterly or something through email. I've always been really impressed with the stories, and that's what keeps me spending $11 a month to maintain this thing. And I hope that I never use it. So
yeah, super cheap insurance plan though if worse comes to worse and that sort of thing happens.
I'm using the Osprey. What is this? Aura 65. I believe is what it is. Really like it for the options. It's got great choices for and I did get properly fitted at REI. They were fantastic. And also teaching me how to utilize all the different options, because once that you do get it dialed in for, how long your torso is, turns out that's a massive difference from one person to another, just because I'm 5'6", somebody else that's 5'6" might not be happy with the way that mine is set up. Yeah, I know it's 5'5.5", Sarah.
I'm 5'7", 5'6 3/4", but I have a really, really short torso. So I always have to when I get fitted, my sizes are always, like, I'm an extra small size because I have freakishly long giraffe legs, but my torso just doesn't fit for a size with that. So
right.
Yeah, the torso length is game changer for that.
And they did such a great job at REI of explaining this pack to me. It is a commitment, financially. I think that it is an expensive bag, but I find it to be worth it. They explained about where the hip belt should be landing and to loosen it up when you're about to take it off, unlatch, and then to loosen up the shoulder straps as well to make it easier to get in and out of, as well as loosening up the distance from the top of the shoulder strap to the top of the actual pack. And then once that you have all that weight on you, to tighten the hip belt and then lean forward, grab those shoulder straps, and then tighten them, as well as pulling down on this until you're comfortable. It turns out when you get it too far, then you're doing the thing with your neck going forward all the time. but the further back it goes, all of this weight is pulling away from you, and you're working way harder than you need to. And I'm all about working smarter, not harder.
Absolutely. So let me show you my bag, because it is not as nice. But I have not backpacked in years, and I was not about to buy a new one, though I might if we start doing this more. But mine's about 65 liters as well. It is just a bag that I have had forever. So there's really nothing fancy to it. It does not have the fancy technology, which I really should be using because my back is pretty destroyed. I do not want to puncture through your tent. But it does the job and it does the trick, and it's working for what I need so far. So probably in the future you will see me with a new bag if this is something that we continue to do with backpacking. So.
And I see you've got your bear spray there. We were warned today at the visitor center that there is a bear in the area, so we are both carrying our bear spray just in case 2 is 1 and 1 is none.
That's right.
So we've both got one. Let's see here. You know, one of my favorite pieces of gear was not a Camelback this year. It will never be. This little Sea to Summit kettle. I was previously using the Jetboil. I found it to be extremely cumbersome. It was just large. It took up a lot of space in my bag. It also wasn't very light when it all came down to it. And so this little kettle, I love how it just was collapsed down to that. And now I've got the ability to boil 4 cups of water. It does have a lid. And I am storing my pour over coffee filter, which, you know, you did a video on how to make coffee earlier using this. Yes. I absolutely love this thing, and I love that I can just put it inside of my kettle, and when the kettle goes flat, it is all contained, and my coffee filter will stay clean because nobody wants a little crunchy sand in their coffee. So there's that, and then put the lid on it, and I have been carrying it in the brain of the bag because it's so light.
All right, tell me about this setup.
Oh, so what we've got here is I think it's made by GSI, and it is just a little coffee filter that, you know, props up on your mug for pour over coffee. And I love this thing. I think it's fantastic because when you have it all packed down, it's like this, and it literally fits inside of my collapsible kettle. So it's not taking up any space. Putting it inside of there keeps it clean. And it is so extremely lightweight. I don't even know that that's an ounce. It is just great. And so then what you do is you just clip it onto the edge of any coffee cup or mug. I have even reused a paper Starbucks cup before. And then, you know, we're not doing exact measurements out here in the field. So just put in your coffee. And then when your water starts to boil, you just pour over your boiling water and let it drip right through into your mug. Okay, so we got our water boiling. Now we're gonna take our Sea to Summit kettle here and just pour over our coffee grounds into the coffee mug. It does go much faster than pour over coffee at home with paper filter.
One thing that's really handy if you're going backpacking with somebody, common things that you both will use, share the weight. Mm-hmm. So for example, Nemo brought the coffee system, which is super light and awesome, and I brought the Jetboil fuel, so I'm carrying that in my bag. So it just helps to distribute weight a bit for stuff that you commonly use and that you commonly need. So that's a tip on keeping things a bit light. A Jetboil this size, like you see on the side here, this will give you 55 boils, so it's way more than what we both need for the weekend here. And we're just using freeze-dried food, so it's just boiling water and putting it in our food source to make sure that we have enough food and everything. So nothing too fancy on that, but yeah, share the weight if you can. That's super helpful.
And that can is not as tall as what it looks like right there. It's got the burner on top of it. Those 3 little prongs that are on there, they fold down and it all twists off, but you release just a touch of your fuel every time that you twist it off of there. But we will be removing that when we pack up tomorrow, because there's a very small, very fragile igniter on the top of that, and so we don't want that getting broken off when in transit in our bags, because we can be a little rough on them.
Yeah. A little bit.
Apparently enough to kill a camelback.
Right. All right, anything else?
What sleeping bag are you rolling with?
Oh, I've got a marmot.
Yeah?
I'm a marmot girl.
I see that.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I went a little bit above and beyond on that one. So honestly, I bought this sleeping bag for my adventures in Alaska. It's -15. It's way more like -15 temperature rated. It's way more than what we'll need out here, because I think it's only going to be like maybe in the mid-40s tonight, so it's going to be awesome, by the way. But so I just roll with that because it is what it is. I'm not buying a million sleeping bags. And then my sleeping mat, I have a sleeping pad, and it's one I've had forever, and it's just a very simple REI sleeping mat. Blow it up, doesn't take long at all, and I'm pretty comfy with that. I do not bring a pillow, though. I actually end up using one of the stuff sacks from either my sleeping bag liner or the pad liner, and I just put in like my puffy jacket, and maybe like if I have some extra clothes or anything like that. That's what I use as a pillow for when I'm sleeping on the trail.
Absolutely, yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
It does save a lot on weight. I am using a Climate, it's KLYMIT. It's actually, I believe it's locally made there in Utah where I live. And I do really like it. Once that I actually felt it in real life. I don't think I would have bought it online because it didn't look any different from any other, but it was just so soft when I saw it in store that I went ahead and splurged and bought that, and I am using that. It works out really great in my mummy style sleeping bag. I put it in that portion of the sleeping bag, and then it stays with me pretty much all night long. I'm using a Nemo sleeping bag, which is all too fitting considering.
It's very appropriate since your trail name is Nemo.
And, I love that thing. It's been great. It goes into a stuff sack, it's great in the sense that, like today, obviously it got completely wet from the camelback after we got set up and the sun was still shining right here. I just draped it across my tent and it has completely dried out. It is a down-filled sleeping bag. And then also when we were camping in Colorado the other day, I did have condensation because it was so cold outside. I did have condensation forming on the inside of my tent here, and it was dripping down, and I was right in the sweet spot inside of the tent that it was literally hitting me in the forehead.
So it was like water torture in the middle of the night.
It is. It's terrible. And so the Nemo has this really great thing that kind of like flips out from inside of the sleeping bag, it's just this little piece. And so I had that over my face and just kind of turned to the side, and I could still breathe because I don't like things directly over my face when I'm sleeping. So I just turned my head and I had all the air that I needed, and it was at least not letting the water drip directly on my face. And then also I use their sleeping pad, which size-wise, once that it's packed up, it is even just a little bit smaller than this water bottle actually, and extremely lightweight. I want to say that's coming in somewhere around 6 ounces of weight. It comes with a bag, a huge, it's a bag like this, that you hook it up to the nozzle, you open it up, get all the space in there, and then close the top, roll it down. It takes about 5 or 6 versions of that, rolling it all the way down in order to fill it up, and then it stays nice and tight. What's been really interesting is that when I've camped in the wintertime, as long as I stayed on top of that thing, I stayed warm between the sleeping bag and that air-filled mattress or whatever, I stayed warm. When my feet inched off of the end of the air mattress, my feet got cold. And so then I scooted up and I was totally content all over again. And oddly enough, it has the opposite effect during the summer because I take it with me to the river. I tend to get hot when I camp during the summer, and I'm always very content sleeping on that thing, even with my my Nemo sleeping pad. Sometimes I'll just take a rumple with me and sleep on top of the bag.
Yeah.
That's what I do during the summertime. But that's not very conducive for backpacking like what we're doing.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. But I think if it was a little bit warmer, I might switch my system and not take the big sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And take just maybe a liner and a rumple, and then, keep the extra jacket and stuff just because I never know. Mm-hmm. But I may switch that up if it's going to be, if we're going to be camping in warmer weather, backpacking in warmer weather. So,
which on that note, always check your weather before you go. And we did that. So we knew that coming out here, we would be seeing about 70 degrees during the daytime, 50 to 40 degrees at night. As we were traveling here, it was supposed to be 40. When we got here, the weather changed and we're looking at 50 degrees at night. I'm a little disappointed because I like it cold.
I'm happy.
So with that, that's been a little bit of a shift, but I think that all of our equipment is still good for what it is that we're doing.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt your video, but I wanted to let you know that in the description box below, I've got some options for you. The first is a Warrior Mindset Workbook, so go ahead and click that link and you can start working on your Warrior Mindset. The second is so we can stay in touch. When we stay in touch, I will be the first to let you know about upcoming adventures, upcoming trips, and any behind the scenes Blue Side adventures that are happening. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your subscription to this channel really helps us get the word out on what we're doing here at Blue Side Adventure. Okay, back to the video. Yeah.
So we had a big difference of opinion today in regards to the footwear for a trail.
We did, because I was asking Nemo. I couldn't see her shoes when we were standing in line getting our permit. And I was like, are those high tops or not? Like, tell us more about these.
So this is a Salomon Supercross shoe, and it's actually intended for trail running. You'll notice like the sole of the shoe is a very like chunky grip, right? It's even in the shape of arrows on the bottom of the sole. I have had these things for a little bit over a year now. I absolutely love them. I will probably get another pair. I went the other day to the Solomon outlet there where I live and I was actually there to buy new Supercross shoes, and they had them, but I fell in love with a regular hiking shoe. This is what I wear when it's warm. When we are doing winter hikes and I know I'm going to encounter snow, Solomon makes a really great hiking boot that, comes up right about here. It is water resistant, which I wouldn't necessarily want that in the summertime because if I step into a stream or something, I do want my feet to dry out. But if you're hiking in the snow, you want to try and keep the snow out. So for summertime, I really love my trail runners that I've got on today, and I think they've been fantastic. But you and your Vibram soles.
So these are my trusty hikers. I have had these for, when did I get these? Probably 2015. They've been around for a minute.
Yeah.
But they fit my feet so well. And they feel so good on my feet. And even though I haven't had to get a resole done, I can tell I'm going to need to because I'm actually wearing these down pretty bad, or pretty badly. And but they're so grippy and they're good on rocks. And the biggest thing for me though is that they're comfortable and they're supportive. I have a lot of foot problems, and I can't imagine right now hiking in anything other than these particular boots. So yeah, these are pretty, I don't know, I might cry when they, if I can't get these fixed, because I know they discontinued this particular model, or else I probably would buy some more. I can't really hike well in softer shoes. It's just something that doesn't work for me. And when I talk about taking, you know, I get a lot of questions from our hikers that come to Nepal and what kind of boots can they wear or what kind of shoes should they wear. And it's really hard to give a recommendation because it's really up to your preference of what you like. So I can't tell you to get Anu or whatever, that's the name of this brand, because it may not work for your foot. Because if Nemo went and purchased these, you probably wouldn't be comfortable in them because you like what you like. So you just have to experiment around and see what works best for you with that. Everybody's foot is different. All the brands are different. So it's going to affect your foot and your grip and how you hike in different ways. And it also has to do with how heavy the pack is that you're carrying. So there will be times if I'm doing a really short hike and I'm just having a really light day pack, or maybe just even just carrying a water bottle or taking, you know, like Bumble out for a short hike or something, I will wear a different style of shoe. It'll be closer to like a trail runner, but I still like the ankle support. But that's really the only time that I'll switch, knowing that it's a shorter distance. And I know the terrain isn't super rocky. And I know it's like a pretty standard, just kind of like exercise for me. But if I'm actually out, I am living in these. I love them.
Now, I know you won't recommend anybody to buy a particular pair of boot, but I will go ahead and say there is one thing I will tell you to not bring to Nepal. One pair of shoes that you should not bring at all. And that is a brand new pair of shoes that you have never worn.
Yes.
That brand, that model. You know, even when I was marathon training and I knew every time exactly what Nike shoe I went to. The shoe store knew me, and they just, I would call them and I'd be like, do you have it in 8.5? And they'll be like, we'll have it setting out for you, right? Like that's how routine I was with that shoe. Even then, I still had to get a couple of easy training runs in on that shoe. I won't come out in a brand new shoe.
Yeah.
And being in Nepal, you are committed for 2 weeks in that shoe. You had better love it.
Yes, make sure it works, make sure it's broken in. And even if, you know, if you're watching this video and you're not coming to Nepal and you're planning your own trek and you want to do backpacking or whatever, do not set off on a 3-day trip like we're doing in a brand new shoe. Like, make sure you break it in. Because your feet will thank you.
Yeah, and as I found out yesterday, it's knowing the shoe paired with the sock. I did an event yesterday in a pair of GoRuck boots. I absolutely love GoRuck boots. I think they're phenomenal. I've had great success with them. I wear them for the GoRuck events. I also wear them for work when I'm on my feet for 12-hour days or more. And I've had great success with them. But I also love these socks. These socks are fantastic. These are a smart wool sock, and I love them paired with my Solomons. And yesterday I had a pair just like them paired with my GoRuck boot, and now I've got blisters. And so I don't have that problem when wearing a Darn Tough sock with the GoRuck. And so know your gear and what works, what pairings work, because it's something as simple as this works any other time except for when paired with this, and it changes everything.
It's such a personal perspective too, because like I'm wearing Pacas. And it's the same idea as smart wool, or whatever brand of merino wool that you like. But I actually like, check this out. But I really like compression socks because just past foot problems and stuff like that, I get some leg swelling and feet swelling when I'm standing on my feet for a long time. So compression socks work really well for me. And then also, I don't like anything bulky in my shoe. So even if I'm winter hiking, I like the thinnest sock possible. It's just it's always been my preference, even like through the military. Let me cover my leg back up. Like in the military doing rucks and all that kind of stuff, like I never, you know, there's recommendations of, oh, you need a double sock or wear nylon over the sock. I'm like, some people that worked really well for, that never worked well for me. It just was uncomfortable, and I even got more blisters from it. And so for me, a really thin compression sock works best for me, but that's not always for everybody. So like the really key takeaway of this part of the discussion is like experiment, figure out what works for you, figure out what you like, and then stick with it.
And you know, today we were both wearing the same brand of pant, and we were both running into the exact same problem. today we were both wearing Prana hiking pants. They do look significantly different. Obviously, she's in a much different color. I do believe it's a different style. I see snaps style, there on the leg. But as great and comfortable and how well they breathe. I want so bad to just love these pants, you know, inside and out. But at the end of the day, every time I go to the bathroom, I drop my cell phone.
Because of pockets. Why can women's pants not have deep enough pockets?
And I am sporting an old iPhone mini. It's small. There's no excuse for this.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrible. I do not have a large wallet, but it barely stays in there. I use the Ridge wallet, and sure enough, this is sticking out the top of my pocket.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable.
My phone was half out of my pocket all day long because I want it available. You gotta take pictures and all that fun stuff. But I want something that can zipper in, or at least fit fully into the pocket. Mm-hmm. And so I will still be on the search for the perfect pair of hiking pants. There is a pair of pants I really like. I can't remember the name brand right now. Duluth Trading Company, that's it. And they've got really deep pockets and a lot of options for like different, like there's pockets halfway down the legs basically. There's serious pockets in this. But they're really heavy and they're not comfortable in my opinion for hiking. They're just kind of like, maybe shorter hike or whatever. But like I like lighter stuff, especially when we're getting into the summer months and, you know, we're getting to 70 and above. I don't like hiking in shorts. So this kind of lighter fabric is perfect. Mm-hmm. But why can't it have pockets?
And you know, they almost got it right. This like mid-thigh pocket right here.
Yeah, I got that too, yeah.
With the zipper. I love this concept, but you know, just give it another half of an inch, you know, both lengthwise as well as over sideways, so that we can easily slide our phone in there and carry it. If I had the larger iPhone like what you've got, I would not be able to seal it in my pocket.
Yeah, and
this one is kind of busting at the seams right now. So that is one thing. And you know, kind of like what you were saying with the Duluth, I love the Fjallraven hiking pants. I've got a pair of the pants, and I recently bought their shorts that they worked with Specialized for. Love them, but they are both such, well, the Specialized, the Fjallraven Specialized short is a little bit lighter weight. Love the pockets. Pockets. This is like all we're asking for in life is pockets.
Right, please.
It's like, why can't this? But Fjallraven gets their pockets right? That's the thing. But their fabric is very heavy. That's why I didn't break out those pants for this trip. I actually think I have them in my truck, and I just didn't have the bravery to wear them because I thought it was going to get hot.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So pockets, that's the problem with hiking pants. What else? So we want to wrap this up because we've been talking a lot about gear and stuff, but one of the common things that I will wear and usually have in my pack is a sun shirt. You got to protect your skin. And it also helped a lot. I don't know if you can see the sun video, but there's a lot of flies around. And there were a lot of bugs and flies on the trail too. And this just helped keep them off the skin, which was a nice bonus. I always hike with a buff. And a lot of that for is like if we're in a dusty area, you can cover your face. Also just kind of keeps the sun off your neck, which is important and often overlooked. And then I prefer to hike in a baseball cap because I do have the boonie style caps, but I don't know, they don't feel right. So I'm more of a baseball style gal, but also that means you got to really protect the ears and the neck if you're going to use that kind of hat. But here's what Nemo's got.
Yeah, depending upon how much I feel like I've got for sun exposure, I'll put this on. I might be feeling like I'm getting a little bit of sunburn on my ears, the tops, getting a little bit on my neck, and this does give me quite a bit of coverage there, the back of the neck. Obviously the tops of the ears are covered, but I sure do love a perfectly fitted flex fit hat. So it is definitely my go-to, but I did switch to this partially through the day because of my ears. I started out in a t-shirt today, you know, in furtherance of your point. I started out in a Prana t-shirt, loved it. Of course I got it good and sweaty, it was completely soaked. And then I switched to this. I was getting tore up by flies, just constantly biting me right here below the elbow. And between that and then you pointed out that I was starting to get sunburned, I don't want to start out sticky on day one with sunscreen all over me. That's kind of one of my little idiosyncrasies, but I just don't like it.
Yeah.
I would rather put on a long sleeve shirt. So I'm wearing one of the REI sun shirts that they make. Great, lightweight, dries very quickly because like no matter what you're wearing, you're going to get sweaty. Obviously I was in a t-shirt, I got sweaty. We'll say that Prana shirt, you know, I hung it up for just 15 minutes probably when we got here and it dried out.
That's awesome.
It's already in my backpack.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that you had made that point that the wool shirts will dry extremely quick, and that is a perfect example of it.
Yep, I'm wearing a wool t-shirt underneath this, and I've got pretty sweaty today too, and I did not take it off to let it dry. I've just been wearing it, and I feel like it's dry already and fine. So,
yeah. Especially as the temperature's dropping a little bit. Yeah, which is fantastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Start to feel this. I like it. All right, so is there anything else you can think of?
I think that's pretty much it. I think we've covered it all. So, you know, we will continue to try out new things, but no more camelbacks probably until they correct what they've done wrong.
Yeah, that's a mess. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add. I'm getting hungry, so I think I'm going to boil some water and get dinner going.
All right, I'm going to finish up that chicken teriyaki rice.
All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.
All right, thank you.
Bye. We're about to do the best part of any super long hike. Take the boots off, put the feet in the river. Three, two, one. Kabam! How's that feel?
Ooh, that is great. Look at the snow melt. Yes, it is. Oh, I can't wait.
Okay.
Sarah's got the legs ready. 3, 2, 1. And there's the reaction.
Oh, this is heaven.